Hi. Welcome to the documentary of the filming of The Making of Lovesick, a film by Bill Mousoulis.
I'm lovesick. Lovesick. Yeah, we're lovesick. Lovesick. Don't get enough love in our lives. We're lovesick. Lovesick. We don't get enough love in our lives. Yeah, we're lovesick. We're lovesick. We're lovesick. We're lovesick.
Crazy love.
Crazy love.
Right, Albie.
Well,
Hey!
Hi, Emma.
Hi Bill, how you going?
Yeah, pretty good. Yourself?
Very well, thanks. So Bill, tell us about the real you.
The real me? Is there a fake me, is there? That's a very unusual question. The real me is the one you see on the surface. I'm a filmmaker and I like making films. I'm making another one at the moment. And I guess there is a kind of like a more real me behind that, my own personality, my own psychology, as it were. But for the moment, let's say that, yeah, I'm a filmmaker.
What inspired you to get into filmmaking?
Basically, just when I finished high school about 20 years back now, 19 years back, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do with my life, and so I took a year off after that, and I watched a lot of films on the telly and the cinema, and a kind of a love of cinema grew, and then I thought to myself, gee, I really like that, I want to do that myself. So I just bought some very simple Super 8 film equipment and just made a short film on my own, yeah.
How do you see art house and independent films developing in the future of this country?
In this country, in Australia, I see them developing very problematically. I don't think there are too many art house films made in Australia. A lot of the products at feature film level is certainly quite commercial things, and the most radical a film can get are films like The Boys or maybe Mall Boy, the one just set in the shopping centre or something like that. So, and distributors are very afraid of, promoting these films and having them on in the cinemas. So it's actually quite difficult. But hopefully, I think there is a chance that, this kind of art cinema will be more appreciated as the years go on. And so, yeah, I'm kind of hopeful anyway.
Your last 4 features, have they been as successful as you hoped they would be?
The first 2 feature films were only shot on Super 8 back in the early 90s, so I wasn't too concerned about those. My previous 2 features, they weren't successful in the normal sense of getting distributed and being, released in the marketplace, but they did have a few film festival screenings, and which kind of gave me a bit of recognition, a bit of profile. And for me, I'm quite happy with that, because there's a lot of, like, even $3 million feature films made, and they just sit doing nothing, and they don't even get released in the cinema, and they just got to go to video, and no one even hears about them. So I'm happy with the limited exposure that I do get, because it still is exposure.
What was the inspiration for your latest film, Lovesick?
I was just tossing up a few different ideas in my head, and I came up with this particular idea. I decided to combine a couple of different elements together, like a love story with a murder story, so kind of like a light or spiritual material together with dark or disturbing material. And it was just a matter of almost literally just when thinking of ideas, just saying, oh, why don't I take that and put it with this and see what happens.
Can you tell us a bit about the film?
Yeah, certainly. It's like I say, it is a love story. It's about a couple who are so in love with each other that they kind of go to an extreme for their love. It's about kind of like the outside world and how it can interfere with, a relationship that you can have with someone. But at the same time, this couple is a bit unusual. They are a bit disturbed because they end up killing a couple of people in the course of the film. So it becomes, like a murder story as well. and it's, there's not much dialogue in it, there's not much drama, and it's very much like an art film, and I'm looking forward to shooting it.
Did you seek any funding or sponsorship for this film?
I do kind of go for funding. Not really to make films, more like to write the scripts. I normally get a couple of script development grants from the Australian Film Commission with other projects, and I've got those kind of grants over the years. In the early days, back like 12, 14 years ago, I did get funding to make short films, which is like full professional funding, so that was good. But it is more difficult with feature films, and I think the last few years now, there's been a plethora of credit card films, no budget films, however you want to call them, where film producers will just put $10, $12 or $15 or $20,000 of their own money into shooting it, and then crossing their fingers and hoping that kind of more money comes in at the later stage and the film gets made, gets fully completed. So I think it is good going for funding, but I don't rely on it, and most of the time I just feel like excited and I want to make a film, and if it means losing 10, 12,000 of my own money, I don't mind.
Tell us why the two lead actors that you went for auditioning, that particular type, and why you ended on Holly Marshall and Clay Raven.
It was a bit of an arduous casting process. I did see about 70 or 80 actors in total, gave them all like a 1-hour audition, and from that I whittled it down to about 20, 25 of them for a more proper audition. And I was looking for, because they had to kind of match as a couple, the two lead actors. Looking for people who could be a little bit sweet and innocent, but also a bit evil looking as well, and just with a kind of edge to them. So it was a bit difficult, like finding a couple of actors who weren't just, for example, a lot of men can just be like pretty boy types in the Australian film industry. So to find a kind of actor that looks real, and same with the actress as well. And I think Holly and Clay, they're both not, that experienced in terms of having done feature films before or anything like that. But they have got great skills, and I think they've got great presence. And, I'm fully happy with them, playing parts. But I did have a bit of trouble, especially casting the guy, casting for that main lead male role. A lot of actresses seem to be much better than actors out there. So, but anyway, in the end, just before shooting now, it's all kind of worked out fine, and we have our actors, yeah.
Have you any advice for emerging independent filmmakers out there?
Depending on what level an emerging filmmaker is at, if they've already gone to film school and maybe they've done VCA or one of the other courses around, then my suggestion is to just like do it themselves a bit, and depending on what they want to do. If they want to be directors, I think you have to direct. You can't just kind of go into any other department and then expect to step up to being a director. Because usually a lot of VCA graduates basically end up crewing for in the TV world or for other kind of things like that. But just depending on what each person wants to do. If the emerging filmmaker hasn't been to film school, then I'd recommend they probably don't go, because it's a bit of a waste of time and money. VCA people have to spend tens of thousands over the 3 years, doing the full course. And really, you can be putting that money into actually making a film. Whereas at VCA, you just come out with a 20-minute short, and so that's that. So, but then again, I kind of like doing things myself, and I think that way, whatever vision you've got as a filmmaker will come across, because you're in control of it. And then it's just a matter of meeting people, meeting other crew members, director of photography, building up a bit of a team, and you can do it on your own. Yeah.
And once completed, where would you like the success of the film to take you?
The success of the film? Well, firstly, it has to be successful, and that's to where it's got to take me. Even after it's been successful, I've no idea. I mean, I'm just hoping, I don't know what's going to happen with this film, whether it will be released or not. It probably won't be. It's probably a 30% chance that funding bodies will come in and give me about $300,000, which is what I need to complete it. Even if they don't give me that money, I can still put it into film festivals and get a few screenings of it, and then kind of build on that, I guess, for the future. Whatever the case, for me, it's another film I'm making, and I've made a few before, and I'm going to be making more. for the next 30 years, hopefully. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Emma.
So, tell us about Steve and Clay.
Well, Steve is a fairly insecure character, a bit of a social misfit. Like he's never really fitted in whatever he's done in life. Like he hasn't kind of fitted in the work he had. But with Louise, the female character, he's found someone who is equally a misfit, and they seem to have really hit it off together. But they've decided to completely leave society and withdraw because they've just been unhappy with whatever they've done in life. And I suppose as Clay, I could see a few similarities of myself in there because I've often felt like the odd person, and I suppose everyone does.
Now, there's a lot of nudity in the film, and there's a lot of sex scenes. How do you feel about that, Clay?
Well, as long as it's a device in the plot, as long as it does something for the movie, I'm comfortable with it. I mean, and I think in this film, I do think the sex scenes are reasonably important to the plot, in terms of the characters withdrawing not just into their flat, but into themselves and into their relationship. Their sexuality becomes kind of their only form of expression. They don't interact with the outside world anymore. So I think it's fairly important, but I suppose I was wary. With taking this on. I was a bit wary about the sex scenes because I wanted to make sure that it was important to the plot and that it wasn't just gratuitous, and it certainly isn't gratuitous.
Tell us what it's like working on a film with not much dialogue.
It's tricky. It's I suppose on most television that you see these days, there's a lot of dialogue, and it means that the actors don't have to act a hell of a lot because all the emotion within the character and the plot is expressed through the dialogue. So when you feel a certain emotion, you just say, I feel this or I feel that. And whereas in this film, it's much more of an internal film, and I found it a bit of a challenge because I come from a theatre background, and in theatre you do often have a lot of internal, anguish or whatever is carried by the character, but because it's done over a stretch of an hour or so of time, or an hour and a half, you can really get into it. Whereas I'm finding this a bit hard because most of the shots are maybe 40 seconds long, and so for 40 seconds you have to get into the emotion, you have to be there. Yeah, and you have to be there right at the start, instantly into that, and then suddenly it's finished again. So I'm finding it a bit tricky. But it's interesting, it's kind of going right away from Hollywood, this whole notion of, it's almost a silent film. It's going to be interesting to see how audiences receive the film. I'll be interested in seeing it as well, because I'm curious as to how it will work. Maybe I should leave you to it, get up close and personal and all that.
Okay, Anthony Douglas, that's his real name.
It is not
my real
name. No, it is not.
Anthony Douglas is his real name. And see, because I wasn't giving him shit about his name, because Clay Raven, it's a pretty fucked up name, don't you think? It's pretty fucked up. So I think not sort of teasing him and giving him shit and stuff about his name, because I thought, the poor bugger, he's probably got hippie parents that gave him this shit-ass name. Sorry, Clay. and so I wasn't giving him shit because I sort of felt a bit sorry for him. But now I've realised that his name's actually Anthony Douglas, and he called himself Clay Raven.
Okay, Holly, so how old are you, Holly?
How old am I? 26.
26? And tell us about your acting career and stuff.
I've been acting since I was about 12.
Lovely.
Doing mainly theatre and stuff. And I started doing film about 4 years ago or something.
And is this how many features have you done?
This is feature number 2 for me. I haven't done very many. I've done lots and lots of shorts. But this is only the second feature I've done, so.
Tell us about your character.
Okay. Let's so, well, my character's name is Louise, and she's, I suppose, sort of my age, and she's a bit fucked up. She's decided, along with her boyfriend, to quit her job and retreat sort of inwards, shut out the external world and sort of become self-obsessed and self-indulgent, I think, a bit. And then they sort of go a bit mental in that context, being sort of shutting themselves off from the outside world and all that sort of stuff. And they kill people as a result of being a bit mental. So, because I think they were a bit mental beforehand.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And there's a bit of nudity in the film.
Mm-hmm. Yep, indeed there is.
How do you feel about that?
Well, how do I feel about it? Well, when you actually shoot really nerdy scenes, they're so, it's so awkward and stuff when you're actually shooting the scenes. Like, you know, there's people standing around, people are bored, people are picking their nose. It's really not, you know, and it's all about, you know, oh, Holly, can you know, move to your left just 3 centimetres or something. It's really not about being sort of embarrassed, you know, with the other person or whatever. It's so not about that. It's just a really uncomfortable sort of situation. So I wasn't really worried about that aspect of it. I guess I was more concerned about how I would actually be represented, like how the final product would look on film, whether I'd, you know, look up on the screen, see me doing a porno, and think, oh, hello. Whoops. Yes. But yeah, no, I'm sort of, I feel okay about it now. I'm pretty confident that Bill's, you know, got it. Thanks, man. That Bill's got a vision that is not sleazy or, you know, or porn or anything like that. That his intentions are honourable. So.
And do you feel that these two characters are soulmates?
It's a good question. I think they are. Whether they are or not, don't know. I sort of get the impression, I mean, we sort of talked about this a bit, me, Clay and Bill, in terms of like how long they've been together and all that sort of stuff, and whether they'd had partners before. And I think we sort of ended up deciding that perhaps they were a bit sort of young and naive. And so in that sense, I think they think that they're soulmates, but they may not be. I mean, it's the sort of thing that they could break up copies down the track sort of thing. Yeah.
God, don't we know those ones? When you think that they're the one and then...
Yes. Yep.
So you're having fun on the film?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's hard work, but it's good. Yeah.
Okay, well, great.
Blast.
Thanks for talking to us.
It's fine. No sweat.
Hi, Annabelle. How you going?
Good.
You're the production assistant?
Production manager.
Production manager.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm the production manager for Lovesick, as you know, and I heard about this project on FilmNet and originally went in to chat with Bill about doing any sort of production work, and because I've done a lot of administrative contracts, insurance, that sort of thing, he said, why don't I take on this job? Which is good because it is that step up. I think everyone is kind of taking a step up or is doing something they don't normally do, which I think is, you don't get that often when there's paid jobs because you don't have there's not that room to take on extra tasks because it is very much like if you haven't had this experience you can't do this job. So it's good, very good.
Great.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy about working on a film? As we're just talking about cleaning and eskies.
Yeah, I know. What do I like or what I don't like?
Both.
I like, because I've worked a lot with sort of outdoor events and festivals, I do like that buzz that you have with working on a film. That the film actually quite surprised me that it is quite disjointed. So it's interesting to see you've got the actors doing one scene and then they're running and getting changed, doing something else. Quite like that. And I also like the schedules and how everything has to be down to the second. It doesn't always work like that. But schedules and roster and everyone needs to be doing their own thing and there's quite specific roles. Like, just it's quite different to most other, even when you have events and festivals and things, I think everyone takes on lots of different things at once, whereas with film it's like you need someone to do each specific role, which I have found quite difficult because we don't have a caterer, which is what I was just talking about before, which is something that I think the next production that I work on, I would like someone specifically to just look after the food, because it ends up taking up a bit of your time when you've got other things to do, but that's fine.
So there was a thing about you convinced the Bill to get
Public liability.
public liability insurance.
Well, George, actually, it was because of George. No, because a lot of the stuff that I've done before, public liability, we've always done that, and because I haven't had that much film experience, and most of Bill's films he's done, he's had no permits and no public liability, which is that guerrilla filmmaking style, which is fun and exciting, and you know, most student amateur independent productions would do it that way. But that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. So Bill was happy. I mean, he originally wanted me to get the quotes anyway, so I presented him with the quotes and then had a chat with George, who had done this role several times. And then I spoke with a lot of different insurance brokers, and then presented Bill with the different options and what I think it's more. I told him what could actually happen,
Yeah.
and how much things would cost, like court proceedings if a third party got injured, all those kind of issues that of course Bill probably realised, but it's not his job to be worrying about those things. So I presented him with all that, and then we found one that was half the price of what it normally is, and then yeah, we got it. Which is, look at this is my big thrill.
It's, well, why not?
Yeah, no, so that was exciting because I think Bill's never done that before, and I mean he's always very safe anyway, but it's something probably different for him that we've got this type of insurance, so it'll be interesting to see whether he thinks it's worth it and whether he does it next time. So,
How you going, John?
Good.
Tell us a little. So John was a director. He's helping Bill out for a little while. How's it going?
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, pretty tired.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
From Queensland,
Queensland,
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being down the beach at the moment.
I know. It's a bit like that, isn't it?
And I hold the microphone.
Microphone. The most important thing. Without that, we have nothing.
No, we've got the boom pole, so
It's true. And you got no sound. You got no gig.
Good, thanks.
So this is your third thing you've worked on,
That's right, yes.
and you do production.
Yeah, production assistant, helping out with the stills as well.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been really interesting, going out to a few different locations. It's really good.
And what do you think of Lovesick?
Oh, it's good. Yeah,
What's your
very interesting.
What's your interpretation of the film?
Twisted love story. Pretty much sums it up. It's good. It's got all the good elements in it. It's got sex and love and murder.
Hi, Josie. So you're from England?
Yes. It's a vicious rumour, don't tell too many people.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. And what a welcome it is. First welcome. Look, summer's here apparently. Still
Yes,
open
but
that one.
aren't you used to that?
Yes, this is actually probably springtime in England, so we're doing okay. I'm pretty impressed actually.
How long have you been in the country for?
Been here since December, so I've just come up to a whole year now, and it's in fact I think I arrived exactly a year ago on the 11th of December, so it's kind of my anniversary today. Happy me.
And tell us about your character.
All right, okay, well, Diana Hunter. Oh, what can I say? Great name. She's quite a complex sort of individual. She's a detective. She has been for a number of years. She's worked her way up through the ranks since she was about 18 as a young cop. But possibly like a stereotypical female kind of character. She has not had many relationships in her life, or successful, intimate, long-term relationships, at least. So I think the case is that she's been partnered up with another detective here.
Hello there.
The gorgeous in black. And yeah, we're trying to have some kind of professional, possibly personal connection between the two of us. And yeah, hoping that comes through, you know. Like,
So, do we kiss?
no, we have to live up to the viewer's imagination.
Yes.
It's all above board and professional, but what's lying beneath?
There's a bit of sexual tension in there, so
Yeah.
I'll have to give the viewers something to think about. Yes.
Well, good luck, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.
You look fabulous, police officers.
Oh, I think
Thank you very much.
stolen from the wardrobe at Stingers.
Could
would
be a
you
new
believe?
career for us.
Yes.
Okay.
My God, I can iron a shirt. No, my God. It's not
Makeup.
None of us is on. Maybe clients are
No, that's good. Yeah.
Or Joe.
slam it.
Come on, say hello.
There shouldn't be wardrobe and makeup because look, pathetically dress sense and makeup is just non-existent. So I'm a loser.
Doesn't say anything for your talent though, does it?
Oh, okay. Talent-wise, I'm perfect for the job.
Introduce yourself, please.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Kathy Tangaridis.
Hi, Kathy Tangaridis.
On Lovesick. Lovesick. Yeah. Yeah. Because we're sick, mate.
I am actually Detective Robert.
Hello, Detective Robert.
I'm here to save you all.
Oh. And your real name?
Fear not, my real name is John King.
Hi, John King.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good.
Are you enjoying the film so far?
Are you enjoying the film?
Absolutely, having an absolute ball.
That's good.
Chasing a few criminals.
Yeah.
Well, I've had lunch.
Had lunch, and that's one of the most important things in filming.
Yep, 4 points to the caterer. Lunch, hot dogs, my favourite food, rice.
Tell us.
And videotape.
And videotape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot dogs, rice and videotape.
Dogs, right.
I'm actually playing Robert Walker, Detective Senior Constable Robert Walker in Lovesick. I'm 31 years old, as is Robert, so that works well. And yeah, it's been quite an interesting job. Most of the stuff we're doing, we only get one take, maybe two if we're lucky, so it's quite challenging. But it's also interesting, like there's not a lot of dialogue in the scene, so we're pretty dependent on our movement and expression to like get the point across, which is I find quite challenging but fun. There never seems to be any stress on the set, which is always good, especially for the actors, and especially when you're doing things in such short takes, like one take. Everyone needs to be relaxed basically, even though it's a very tight kind of schedule to get things down in one shot. So yeah, Bill's good. He just seems to have a nice calming influence, and it's a really nice, good casual working environment, I think. So I can actually relate to it. I've recently done a similar thing to Steve in that I sold a business that I had, which I'd had for a few years to pursue acting. So I found that actually quite interesting when I picked up the script, because I'm probably going through a few of the same things that Steve and Louise are, in the sense that, yeah, just getting out of the rat race and following your passions, you know, a bit of an artistic path. So that's quite interesting, but in the movie I'm actually the copper. I'm actually the dude that puts an end to all their misbehaviour, as it turns out.
I'm 23 years old. I was born in Malaysia, but I came over here when I was about 1, hence the accent. Yeah, that's about it. I've done a bit of drama at VCA and a bit at La Trobe University. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm playing Tamsin. She's a pretty spunky girl, you know. She's not a real girly girl. She's pretty tough and she's pretty down to earth, and yeah, that's what I like about her. She's just cool. The script's good. There's not a lot of dialogue, but there's a lot of you know, just scenes like walking around and stuff like that, and can't picture there being too much music in the end, but I think that's the whole style of it because it's an art house film. A lot of shots like scenery, just the city, things like that. But it's pretty dark, like what happens in it's pretty dark. Bill's the director. Well, I mean, he's the best, you know. What am I supposed to say? He's really good. He's really good. He's easy to get along with, and you know, he gives it straight to you. So, he's a cool guy. I think I'm pretty laid back too, you know. But probably not as spunky as Tamsin. I don't get to wear the cool clothes that she wears, but I think I'm pretty laid back.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Jason, and
Hi,
I'm
Jason.
the sound recordist.
Sound. How many films have you worked on before?
I've worked on a lot of student productions, and this is my first feature film, so thank you.
Congratulations. How exciting.
It's very exciting.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a video production student at RMIT, and I spoke to Bill wanting to actually audition for an acting part, but after further discussion worked out that I'd like to do something on the crew, so yeah. I've worked sound on a couple of little short films before, so thought I could take it on.
Tell us a little about yourself, Chris.
I'm camera assistant for this film and working with Nick.
How old are you?
28.
And
29. Birthday a month ago.
And tell us about your career and stuff, and how you're finding this film, and what other stuff you've done, and what do you want to tell us?
I'm a new filmmaker, so I've been in the industry for about a year. I'm still learning. I'm doing this free gig to get experience on film, and everyone in the crew seems pretty nice so far. I've been a week in, we've done some good locations. We went to Puffing Billy, which was interesting. Steve jumped on my skateboard and flung it into my leg. See, trying to see it? Look, it's painful. Ouch, that's nice with the cold hands on it, right? What else has happened to me? Have I sustained any other injuries?
Has he sustained any other injuries from Lovesick?
Oh, I've got this one injury. I was on a pole and... No, I'm not joking. What else? That's about all, really.
Tu peux laisser les gens passer, tu vois. Quand il y a des gens qui veulent passer, tu fais signe qu'ils peuvent passer. Parce que les gens vont s'arrêter croyant qu'ils vont déranger.
Can you see the shadow that you're making? Yeah. Decrease it until this is the top of frame. You're gonna do a sound test.
Take one. Okay. Put it down. Yes. That's it. Frame and action. Okay, cut. Just keep it low.
Everyone has to make sure they're really careful with cars and...
Scene 45, shot 87, take 3.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I think around there, like, yeah, hundreds.
Hey, you should come.
Yeah, can we just quickly go through from Thames and High?
Okay, keep going.
How's it going?
Not too bad. You got a gig?
Yeah, it's tonight. Hey, you should come.
Right. I'll think about it.
Cool has never gone out, though, I reckon.
What have you been up to?
Worked for this company in the city a few years. Yeah, I want to write some songs.
Cool.
Cool. Cut.
I'm nervous about it. Rather joyously.
It's sort of a bit mostly
yeah, she's tilted to the left, alright.
Tilted to the left.
Yeah, what's that?
Which way do you think it's tilted? So which way do you think it's tilted?
It's tilted to the left.
If it's got a different opinion, it's probably it means that
Farts is like semi-wet and you think, oh, like a wet fart, you think, oh my god, did I just touch cloth? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, terrible. Yeah, well, no comment was like this, I would have been farting all day and it wouldn't have been a problem, you know what I mean? But everything.
Oh, you poor thing. Yeah, it's bad like when, like if you're on a date or something and you don't want to, obviously you don't want to fart on a date.
Yeah.
So you're like holding it all and stuff and then when you go to the toilet you're like, yes.
Oh, yeah. The joys of life.
Oh, thanks.
Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys drinking whiskey and dry, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. Oh, and there we were all in one place, a generation lost in space, with no time left to start again. So come on, Jack, be nimble, Jack, be quick.
Right?
Yeah.
You cross your legs? Isn't that strange?
And do you do this on a regular basis, or is it just sort of spontaneous kind of thing that happens every now and then?
Oh, spontaneous kind of thing that happens every now and then.
Yeah.
Go away.
He said, she said, he said.
Bunch of bastard. We are so busted.
Veronique, be careful of you, about traffic, and Kathy, you.
Don't worry, I'm so wide and I'm so
Slow down, wide load.
Anyone look at Vicky?
You were smiling.
It was a grimace.
Interesting 2 days. Yeah. No, I'm feeling good now. I'm pissed, so. Okay, Christmas things in the city already. No, I've been at, I've been at another function.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you say another function again, really?
Alright, so we're at the rep party at the moment.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did the shoot go?
The shoot was fantastic. It finished 2 days ago on the Wednesday, and I'm a very happy boy now because I've seen all the rushes yesterday, and everything looks really beautiful. So I'm very happy. Yeah.
And the cast and crew?
Very happy. I think the overall result will be spot on.
I did the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Did you watch? Yeah. I'm actually getting removed though. Oh yeah.
Scott headbutts me, like imitating me. He's like, that's what you are like a headbutting animal. You know what I mean? Like, keep going. It's like, and this.
Yes, we will. This will be a bumper stop on the movie.
I think she's had enough.
It's too early. I'm not gonna film you, bitch.
Call me a bitch. Wait a second.
Everything that's like derogatory or like bitching George gets on film.
Sorry, just stop
directing that right into the camera.
And it's like, he just sort of hovers her whenever he's a B word or a C word.
Yeah. Who's a bitch? Who's a cunt?
Yeah. I'm there with the camera. Some glitter.
I've told everyone in Shepparton.
Kathy. Huh? No! Okay, ready? You've got to wind up the whip. No, whip mate, go. See, you gotta do it like emotionally.
That's right.
I've got a bit over there.
I haven't seen the rushes yet because I want to see the final product. I'm very curious, Sorry? Yes and no, because it was such a good crew and cast. It was a pleasure working together. So I don't know, it's a bit like when you are like a family and it's you're not seeing each other anymore. It's a bit sad in a way. It was okay. The good thing with him is that he's very focused and he knows what he wants. He does exactly what he wants, and that's very interesting.
It's 28, I think.
It's not for you, it's just for one, right?
Please come. Thank you. That'll be very nice. You look excellent.
Oh, really?
And the Russian performance was fantastic.
Did you see the rushes too?
Cutter. You need a flag.
I think you could do. Could you actually soften it up?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Dim it down a bit.
Can you put some diffusion on that? I am terribly drunk.
Been drinking since 1 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah, it looks very good. Yeah, the rushes look excellent. I'm very happy with it. It was trying to be the film was very central, with deep composition, high contrast, and it, using obviously limited resources, we're trying to give the maximum effect from our limited resources. And I think we did really very well. The film looks good. Seeing all the rushes, the film looks very good. Yes, Steve was the camera assistant, Michael, both very good. Excellent. Oh, I'm going to Tassie to work on a project for the BBC, then going to Thailand to work on a documentary for an Australian production company. So a bit more documentary work, and hopefully do some more narrative later on next year. Very good. Bill's very focused on his framing, and it's good. They're very. He knows exactly what he wants, precisely exactly what he wants. And we talked about the way that the film's going to look, and I think that we achieved that very much. And I'm very happy with the way it looks. It looks great.
Sorry to talk a little bit of business. Jack, alright. You recovering tomorrow? I'll give you a call.